All right, a very good morning to you. The morning is very good right here at the People's Court in the Coal City. And thank you for joining us in the 7th September edition of the People's Court, made possible and powered by Movement of Voice for Democracy, Movers Nigeria. The People's Court is a radio court program that airs on this station every Saturday 9 to 11 a.m. And one spectacular hallmark of the People's Court is the jury. The final verdict lies with the people. The people is the jury. And today promises to be as exciting as usual, perhaps even more exciting, because it gets better every Saturday. Every Saturday. Say something about it. And this morning I present to you the forum advocate, the person of Mr. Ifeanyi Chukwu. Good morning, sir.
Citizens, the court is now in session. The People's Court is a reform platform for the pursuit of transparency, good governance, and good citizenship, with the purpose of giving voice to the poor, women, and those denied freedom, equality, and justice in our communities. This is our People's Court, a community-grown citizen forum for enhancing Nigerian democratic culture in an open society by people's participation and the common people in the promotion of due process, arbitration, and rule of law. Distinguished citizens, the People's Court will reduce the culture of impunity, abuse of human rights, and corruption through the active participation of the citizens. Movers Nigeria believe that the citizens' constant complaints are the cheapest price the people pay for the freedom, comfort, and security we now enjoy. Distinguished citizens, the focus of today's edition, the episode of the People's Court, is the wise thought of distinguished citizens of the world. And we have elected to deepen democracy by bringing to you two great world leaders, what they have thought about democracy. Distinguished citizens, I will commend for you the process and the thinking of one great American president, Theodore Roosevelt, what he thought about democracy. And I will say so with humility by also bringing to you what another great American president, Woodrow Wilson, also thought about democracy. These are great men of history. They are people who have paid the price. They have brought their thoughts to deepening of democratic process around the world. Distinguished citizens, I will start with Roosevelt, a foremost American president who had this to say about democracy, and I quote, "Let us, true to our democratic ideal, and not by utterance of cheap platitudes, not by windy oratory, but by living in such a manner as to show that democracy can be efficient in promoting the public welfare during periods of peace and efficiency in securing national freedom in our times," unquote. I will further introduce to you what Wilson W. said about democracy, and I quote, "It is for this that we love democracy, for the emphasis it puts on characters, for its tendency to exalt the purpose of the average man to some high level of endeavor, for its just principle of common assent in matters in which all are concerned, for its ideal of duty and its sense of brotherhood and sisterhood," unquote. Distinguished citizens, in today's edition of the People's Court, this is our focus. I am humbled to present to you the forum judge for this episode of the People's Court is a eminent Nigerian, a good citizen, a retired officer in uniform of the Nigerian Armed Forces. He distinguished himself. I'm retired, an Air Force officer, a jurist by excellence, having been recognized by the echelon of our leadership in our community to have been given opportunity to adjudicate in the court that is the closest to the people, which we call the customary court. Distinguished citizens, the forum judge this morning is Chief Sylvester Mba JP. He lives in Emene. He's a community leader. Okosisi of Emene, you are welcome.
Well, thank you, sir.
I will give you opportunity to address the jury this morning with your remarks about today's episode of the People's Court, sir. Forum judge, sir.
Thank you. I humbly, with great gratitude to the Movers Nigeria Forum to have appointed me as a forum judge for this 10th episode of the People's Court. I would want to introduce myself officially on this forum and the general public that I am Chief Mba Sylvester JP, former customary court judge, Emene, Enugu State, Justice of the Peace bestowed on me by Enugu State government, and a retired air officer who has served our dear country, Nigeria, meritoriously, and a titled chief of my community, Okosisi of Nike, bestowed on me by His Royal Highness, late Igwe Edward Najo, Desribo II of Nike. I wish to congratulate the courage and boldness of the promoter and the initiator of this forum, the movement of Voice for Democracy, Movers Nigeria. This is a clarion call for Nigerians to the awakening and face the reality of the truth. We are all in the verge of total collapse in our nation because of fear and ignorance to face the reality. We know that what we call democracy in Nigeria is autocracy. We do select and not election for our various positions in political systems. I would want to say, I would want us to shine away from fear and ignorance to embrace this movement for better. If not, the best move or courage in this country, Nigeria, is in jeopardy. I would say, like my friend Andrew Hedton, and I quote, create a set of great and personal values and surround yourself with the right people that can form your support system. Have an optimistic spirit and develop a strong purpose that you completely believe on and everything you can imagine responsible for yourself, unquote. Therefore, let us come together as individual and group to say no or to anarchy and embrace the fact and define a cause for true democracy in Nigeria. I thank you, my fellow Nigerians.
Thank you, distinguished Forum Judge. Distinguished citizens, the Forum Judge has spoken. I will use this opportunity again now to bring the quintessential issue that is before you. The petition in today's episode. I use this opportunity to call on citizens of this country to wake up from their slumber and use this platform to bring to public table issues that are agitating your mind, that will touch the development and the improvement of good governance in our society. You can send it by email to Movers Nigeria through our address, or send it as a text message, or you can send it in Facebook, or you can come to our office and present a petition that you want the public to address, issues of good governance, so that we can put it in the episode that will come next after you have finished hearing from me. Distinguished citizens, the petition this morning was brought by Movers Nigeria, and the discussion in public table is that the agitation of the citizens is what will improve our lives. If you fail to agitate, if you fail to complain, the people who are in leadership will never know that they are not doing the proper thing. Movers is humbled to have presented the petition for discussion in this morning's segment. And that petition, I read with humility, is: having regards to the meaning of democracy, do you support that the Nigerian Constitution be amended so that each state shall fix and be responsible for the salaries and allowances of their representatives in the National Assembly, ministers in the federal government, governor, members of the state assembly, commissioners, and councillors? I will repeat the question again. Having regards to the meaning of democracy, do you support that the Nigerian Constitution be amended so that each state will fix and be responsible for the salaries and allowances of their representatives in the National Assembly, ministers in the federal government, governor, members of the state assembly, commissioners, and councillors? Distinguished citizens, this is the issue that is agitating the mind of movers. The reason for this question is that the cost of governance in Nigeria is now the biggest industry that a lot of people must know that the industry is failing. So if we can't control the cost of governance and you don't get actively involved in how the inputs of governance and how the outputs of governance are put on public table, the books will never be balanced. Distinguished citizens, I'm humbled to present this question to the Forum Judge for him to give you his own idea and judgment on this critical issue. Forum Judge, sir.
Thank you, moderator. This is my judgment on this petition. I have examined the petitions and the explanations of this petition, and I confirm that Nigerian National Assembly consumed 1 trillion naira between 2005 and 2012. according to National Bureau of Statistics. Nigeria do not know how much ministers, governors, members of state assembly, commissioners, and councillors are paid. There is no transparency and accountability in Nigeria. Now, my decision or opinion, I have reviewed the petition and explanation of the petitioners and found as follows. 1. That the National Bureau of Statistics has a clear view of money spent by the National Assembly. 2. That Nigerian officers appointed or selected are responsible to fix either salaries or remunerations for themselves. 3. That in their actions, there is no transparency or even accountability in Nigeria. Therefore, my conclusion and opinion, I am in support that Nigerian Constitution be reviewed or amended, as Constitution was the design of the military, to give the Democrat the opportunity to define our cause as a true Democrat, where our destiny is granted by a majority of people and not selected individual. I thank you.
Thank you, the Forum Judge. Distinguished citizens, I cannot add or remove from what the Forum Judge have decreed. I now call on the presenter to please bring in the jury so that they can now deliver their verdicts. Presenter, sir.
Right. The picture I have right now is that of a town hall meeting, and we are all gathered. Even if you can't see us, we are all gathered, and we have brought up an issue, and you are supposed to say your mind concerning the issue. Someone says if you don't stand up to and for something, you definitely will fall for everything. So this morning, we have brought up the petition. Now, looking at the real meaning, the true meaning of democracy, do you support the Nigerian Constitution to be amended so that each state shall fix and be responsible for the salaries and allowances of their representatives in the National Assembly, ministers in the federal government, governor, members of the state assembly, commissioners, and the councillors? The phone lines are open, 0815-960-9134 and Forum Advocate, sir.
Distinguished citizens, we have one case listed for hearing today, and there are two defendants. The claimant in this case is Mr. Daniel CHIBUEZE OKENWA. He filed this petition against Mrs. J.C. Nwosu, operating in the style and manner of Blossom Nursery Primary High School, Enugu, and the Commissioner of Police, Enugu State. This petition is due for hearing. The first defendant, Mrs. J.C. Nwosu, was duly served through the Night-Post Courier Service sent on 29th day of July 2013. The second defendant, the Commissioner of Police, Enugu State Police Command, was duly served through Night-Post Special Delivery on 30th July 2013. The facts of the case is as follows. My name is Mr. Daniel CHIBUEZE OKENWA. I live at number 7 Ochi Street, Achara Layout, Enugu, and I work with Arab Construction Company in Enugu State. On the second day of July 2013, while at work in Nsaka, my wife, Mrs. Chinasa Okenwa, called me that my son, Master Emmanuel Ifeanyi Chukwu Okenwa, was missing from school, May Blossom Nursery Primary School, Enugu. My son attends May Blossom Nursery Primary School, situated at 9 Ibariam Street, Achara Layout, Enugu, which is owned and operated by Mrs. J.C. Nwosu as proprietress. On that fateful day, 2nd July 2013, my wife took my son to school at 7:30 a.m. and handed him over to the teacher, Mrs. Francisca Mbemena. And at 12 p.m., the time of dismissal, my wife, Mrs. Chinasa Okenwa, went back to pick my son from from school, only to be told by the headmistress, Mrs. Chioma Muisube, and her class teacher, Mrs. Francisca Mbemena, that an unknown lady came and picked my son from school by 9 a.m. This is against the rules of the school, as written in the school identity card that read thus, and I quote, "Any person with this identity card is responsible for taking the child home," unquote. Attached is a copy of the school identity card marked Annexure A. And they have a procedure that you must tender the identity card or a confirmation letter from parent before you pick the child. But in my case, none of this was followed. The principal of May Blossom Nursery Primary School Enugu told me that my son was taken from school premises around 9 a.m. without any confirmation letter from us, when the school is also in possession of the phone number of myself and my wife. The headmistress and the class teacher know the whereabouts of my son, who is just 4 years and 2 months as of the time of this incident, and the proprietress is not acting as if a human being was lost. When the case of my missing child got to my family, my younger brother, Mr. Ike OKENWA, reported the case to Wani police station. And later, when I came back, the police asked me to make statement, which I did by narrating how my wife took my son to school by 7:30 a.m. and went back to pick him by 12 p.m. and was told by the headmistress and the class teacher that an unknown lady came and picked him up by 9 a.m. without any consent. But when I went back to the police station, I was so disappointed when I asked after the class teacher and the headmistress and was told that they had been granted bail. The next day, the IPO, he didn't give us the name of the IPO, informed me they have transferred the case to Anti-Kidnapping Squad, Abakaliki Road, Enugu. At the Anti-Kidnapping Abakaliki Road, I was also told to make another statement, which I did, and a copy of my son's photograph was also dropped. And while all this was going on, the police gave these 2 women executive treatment, and I protested at the command, and the commander ordered his officers to drive me out of the station, and it's now occurred to me that I cannot get justice from the police. The claimant, Mr. OKENWA, is claiming as follows: for the school authority to be investigated in the role they played in the missing of my son. They should bring back my son, warning the parents, your child may be the next. That the police command should investigate the 2 women and the school on the missing child issue. The police to make their investigation public. After we got this petition and sent it to the people who the claim are directed against as the defendants, the first defendant, the claimant called us on the phone and the mover's office to inform us that the police had invited him for interview, maybe after they have gotten a copy of the petition served on the commissioner. We did not hear anything again from Mr. OKENWA as regards whatever is the outcome of the invitation of the police. The second defendant, after service of the petition on the Mrs. J.C. Nwosu, wrote a letter, which letter I will read. The letter was sent to mover's office, and the defendant responded by that letter. It was dated the 22nd day of August 2013 from May Blossom Nursery Primary School and High School, Enugu, and he read thus, and I quote: "We received the letter dated 27 July 2013 in connection about the missing child from our school. Sir, we have been working closely with the family, kindred of the missing child, and the police. Sir, it is a sensitive issue where the police will not like publicizing issue because of the intelligence gathering about the phone number that called. On behalf of the proprietors, management, and parents of May Blossom School, we thank you for your concern. We pray that the innocent child will be found, and thank God, and God bless you. This letter was signed by GIF, Mrs. the principal. I must, as the forum advocate, state that this matter is not pending in court. There's a difference between a matter pending in court and police investigation. The police is a public institution, and they are subject to the Constitution of Nigeria and the Police Act. The issue in this matter is very simple. We have received the complaint, forwarded it to people concerned, and we got a response by way of letter telling us about issue of publicity. I will pass this matter, first of all, to the forum judge for his decree before we now call in the jury to take their stand on this issue. Forum judge, sir, I have given the facts of the case. You can now give your judgment, sir.
Thank you, the advocate. This is my judgment as a forum judge. I have examined and critically looked at the claimants and the defendants' claims. Therefore, I decide and order as follows. That the authority of the May Blossom Nursery, Primary and High School, Enugu, provide the missing child to the claimant, Mr. Daniel CHIBUEZE, OKENWA, within 90 days, with effect from 7 September 2013. 2. That the school be closed indefinitely for lack of security in the school. That's my judgment.
Thank you, Mr. Forum Judge. I will now call on the presenter to call in the jury for them to give us their deliberation on this critical issue.
All right, if you're out there, it's still the People's Court, and it is your turn to say what you think about the case. The facts of the case have been presented clearly, and I'd like you to call us on 0815-960-9134 or 0815-243-7346 to say what you think should be done. The forum judge has passed his judgment, but his judgment is not as valid as yours. It is those of you out there that will decide.
I want to use this opportunity also to write to the Commissioner of Education in Enugu State,
okay,
to carry out what the people have demanded, to close down the school,
okay,
to start with. And that's where we're going to start. We're going to write to the IG of the police. Poor man don't stand a chance in this country. Every good person in this state must come. Let us join and help this man.
Okay.
It could be your child.
Okay, if you're out there and you are a good-spirited Nigerian and you are feeling the pain, oozing out, from your from the airwaves, as we treat this case, then something has to be done about it.
Mr. Okenwa now have told us he has lost his job. He needs money. He needs support. I'm calling on the citizens of this country, if you are touched, to come to Movers or go to him privately so that we can assist him. This cause must be fought.
Okay, and don't forget that you can drop something for Mr. Okenwa at number 1 Ogoja Street off Naked Lake Road by Content Oil and Gas Limited, White House Bus Stop, Transekulu. And then you can also call us on 042291-198 or 0708-955-9992. Okay, if you're on Facebook, you can reach us on...
That's all we can take now, so that we can...
Okay. Are you ready?
And we can now go to the next segment.
Okay.
Of the, before we do that, I will call on the forum judge to give us the verdict, the final verdict on the 2 petitions before we go to the correspondence and email we have. Forum judge, I want you to give us the final verdict on the public petition and the case. What is the final verdict of the people on the 2 issues?
Thank you, Advocate. On my opinion, and the final verdict by the public, I agree that the Constitution should be amended. Yes, my conclusion is that the two petitions agreed with my own judgment, and will advise the public to contribute more on this program. Thank you, moderator.
We now call on the Movers Nigeria to present letters and email that has come in both during and before the segment of this court.
Okay.
So that we can make progress. We now want to know the result of the participation in the...
Okay, you know that every Saturday somebody walks away with a radio, and we about announcing the winner of the digital radio. All right.
The reason why when we're on this program, we ask you if you call in that you should identify your place and where you're calling from so that we can always know how to route your gift in case you win. The winner in this episode is a lady who was so angry we forgot to give us her name. She called from Emene, Mrs. something, and she is the winner of the digital radio in this episode.
So if you're the lady that called from
Emene, you can come to Movers Nigeria and come with your phone number so that we can get your phone number, and then you have won the radio for your active participation. She really gave a very strong decree on what should be done to the people. And by the way, I use this single opportunity to ask the citizens to come and see how we can assist Mr. OKENWA to fight this cause, and also to give them some welfare and economic support.
All right.
The cost will now rise.